guys, Sal here. So the next flagship from Samsung, the Galaxy S11, will be launched next year in February. But we already have a fair share of idea of what the device is capable of and how it might end up looking like. The S11, as expected, will have two processors, Snapdragon 865 and Exynos 9830, and both will be 7nm chipsets. Today we have a leak of the Snapdragon 865 SoC, which tells us that Qualcomm has made a significant improvement to the performance compared to this year's 855 or 855 Plus. Ice Universe posted a Geekbench score of the 865 that shows insane scores for the new SoC. 12,496 in multi-core. That's way more than 10,700 that the 855 was able to achieve, and even more than Apple's A12 Bionic chip that scored 11,200 in multi-core. One of the reasons the SoC was able to achieve those numbers is that it's built using Samsung's EUV technology, which is the next generation of chip making process. The Exynos 9830 should have similar numbers or maybe even more because it's also built on the same process. That said, these numbers look impressive, but the reality is that these benchmarks don't even remotely test what a normal user would be doing on their smartphones. These benchmarks are known as synthetic benchmarks. They generally test the components of a smartphone to see their highest performance in an absolute best case scenario without much context about how those components are being used. These benchmarks are simply run to see the fastest theoretical performance that the system could be tested at without regard to battery life, operating systems, applications, or real-world use cases. I'm not saying benchmarks are totally useless. They are useful to point to certain capabilities of the CPU, but are not a useful representation of the whole system's performance or experience. I see a lot of people, primarily Apple fans as well as mainstream media, who claim that iPhones are better than any Android phone because of the high Geekbench scores, which is a total BS. Like I've said, these benchmarks don't even remotely test what we would be doing on our smartphones, so it's not a good idea to pay too much of attention to these numbers, and certainly not a good idea to use it as a measure to judge which smartphone is better. A few months ago, Samsung released a smartphone in their Galaxy M lineup that had a 5000 mAh battery. But now it looks like Samsung wants to take the battery game to a whole new level by making a smartphone that will have a mammoth 6000 mAh battery. A leaked photo confirms it, and if reports are to be believed, it's gonna be included in their Galaxy M lineup again. They can't use such a huge battery in their flagship phones for a couple of reasons. A, it will make the phone thicker, which makes these $1,000 phones less appealing aesthetically. B, flagships have a lot of components inside them compared to mid-range or budget phones, so space is another reason why they can't use a massive amount of battery in their flagships. In any case, this battery will make sure the phone will last for days before needing to be recharged. Of course, with that being said, consider subscribing for daily smartphone tech videos like this, and as always, I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out.